Eleven with Jenna. 11 with Jenna. 11 with Jenna. 11. Who you gonna call right now? 11 with Jenna. With Jenna. 11 with Jenna. Right now. 11 with Jenna. With Jenna. It's 11. Who you gonna call right now? Sorry, Mayor, I had to hang up. I had a hard stop at 11:10 and a half. Good morning. It is 11:11 on Saturday, July 17th. Saturday. That's so Moira. My name is Jenna Mammina. I am here every day at 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. Eastern Time, no matter where I am. At least that's how we've worked it out thus far. So it's working. I'm not planning on... Oh, Annette. Hi. Hi, Annette. Hi, Annette. How are you? Mayor. So right this very second, Annette Aguilar is in New York. Percussionist extraordinaire. How are you? What are you doing? When are you going to be on my show? So we can talk about your band and stuff. Come on, come on, come on. And your teaching and all that stuff. And Mayor, when are you going to be on the show? I mean, you talked to me until 11 and 20 seconds, and then she hangs up. Kids, ladies, come on, ladies on the stage. June Millington. Hello, June Millington. They lost. Did you see that Ami left the planet? Ami was their dog. She was a good girl, just like you are. Looking at me like this. You can come sit with me if you want. No, I just like to watch you talk into a square lit box. Not sure who's here, but good morning. I'm gonna send a little, oh, that's cute. Photo comments are not allowed on this page. Isn't that interesting? Why are photo comments not allowed here? Well, so it is Saturday tonight. One more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. We'll talk about food, what he's watching, what he's reading, what he's listening to. And usually there's a question that's asked about a topic or a person, and he knows something really cool about it. So if you're not doing anything tonight and you feel like hanging out with Gary Lambert, Grateful Dead's archivist, a writer, or has a Sirius XM radio show, come hang out with him. Tomorrow morning, my friend Alex Martinez is going to be here. I'm not sure if he's on the East Coast or the West Coast, or if he's down in Mexico, but wherever he is, he's going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow night, musicians a square table. And Carl Hess will be calling in. Not video, just the old-fashioned, like a radio show. Monday morning, I'll meander. Monday night, we meditate. Tuesday morning, maybe we'll have a guest. She hasn't decided yet. Tuesday night, I think Dr. Andrew Rader. Wednesday morning, making and bacon with Patty. Wednesday night, sometimes cookies and cocktails with Shauna, sometimes just plain cocktails. Thursday morning, we'll be chilling. Thursday night, conversations with the creatives. Last week's Corona Roki, which is the third Thursday of every month, off the chain. Go back and check it out if you want. Friday morning, Armando, we sit there and we talk pie, we talk cake, we talk ice cream, we talk about life and love and family, and it's fun. And Friday night, display and share, as in CHER. And if you're watching, the show, my spirit animal. And then it's Saturday morning. And this has been happening, I think, since April of last year at some point. William knows the exact date. I sometimes tend to forget. But again, I'm here every day, and I also am bounced over to YouTube, not live, Need to get that together where we can just do them at the same time, and then William doesn't have to upload everything. But in the meantime, William D. Lindemann uploads every single show, which is over 900 at this point, onto YouTube. But again, oh, so they said I can't do that on Facebook. It's Saturday morning, which means one more Saturday morning with Jeff Metzger. How are you? Oh, sorry. Sean Colvin. That's what I was listening to. I'm stuck in a groove on the floor. What's going on there, Jeff Metzger? Can you hear me? Unmute thyself.
That's what nobody heard me. I thought I was making jokes.
Oh man, I bet that was
What
the
a crowd
joke you've told all day.
Have on this thing. It's just, the noise is just deafening.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Hanging. Lillian's right there. Where's Layla? Is she listening to poetry?
No, Layla was up. Our neighbors are gone for the weekend, so we're taking care of their dog. I mean, so they're going to run across the street to let the dogs out or do whatever, feed the dogs or whatever they're doing it. So that way, Layla will not be yelping for my attention while I'm on this extraordinary show.
It is, isn't it?
For which the world is dependent upon our wit and wisdom. So
far, there are seven. 7 people are dependent on what's happening right now here on 11/11 with Jenna. And
now are those when it says 7? Are they counted by ones or are they counted by millions?
I'm thinking. Did you see the painting I bought last night? Would you like to see it?
I would love to see it. Well, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, is that for California or Michigan?
That's for Michigan, for the hallway. See, I don't know if you've seen the hallway, but it's my the stairway up to my place. It just happened in my last place and I continued it here. I have art with, like, that Bruce shot would be great in there because it's all eyes. You know, everything has eyes on it. And I call them my security guards. So as you're walking up the stairway, you're being checked out by Prince and these chickens and Buddha and all kinds of people. Don Knotts, my mom. So it's going in the hall. Yeah, but it's done by this man by the name of Brian. He signs the back of it. He doesn't sign the front. And my friend David is a painter and he teaches art to special needs. And this is part of a program that he runs, and this is one of his students.
Very cool. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, Colorado. Like, do they welcome you when you get on the plane now? Jeff, what's up?
The cool Colorado plane, you know?
Do you have a subscription now to Red Rocks?
Nope. That would be that place. I mean, there's shows night after night after night. So they go. So yes, but it's a happening place.
Have you been tempted to I think I'm just going to stay tonight to watch the next show? Mm-hmm. Lisa, fly out. Let's hang out.
No, we were done. We were done 2 nights. It was that was plenty.
So it was Billy Strings and family.
It's Billy and the kids. Bill
Kreutzmann
and the kids, and he started this band. I think in 2014 they started it, and I don't know how many times they've actually performed, but not many. So then during the pandemic, I guess a couple of months ago, they did a thing on, Bill lives in Kauai.
I saw that.
Okay, so he did 3 nights at Carlos Santana the last night. Okay, so he did 3 nights on the over the beach with no audience, and now I guess he's here. He's on the mainland because they're starting rehearsals for the Dead Company tour. So they added Billy Strings for the Hawaii thing. So they put this on the road and did 2 nights. So they call it Billy and the Kids with Billy Strings. So your fellow Michigander is quite the talent.
He's a talent, isn't he?
Holy moly, what a voice!
Yeah,
it's the way he sings those songs that we were talking about.
It's not even a harsh.
I was saying after Mama Tried, I said Bob Weir, in his wildest dream, has never sung that song like that.
Well, I was reading this whole thing last night about this thread about John Mayer and like who likes and doesn't like, and Jerry compare and all that stuff, and how they're bridging, like Billy will be Bob. Like in the next few years when Bob's done, that will probably be Billy's spot. And different people playing,
very well.
Makes sense.
Acts, but yeah, you're right. Is there going to be a big act that will carry on, that will play big venues? So I guess what the suggestion is that Mayer and Billy Strings will be the headliners of the group that carries on. I mean, anything's possible. That certainly is as plausible as anything. This is a freaking money printing machine that we've got going out there now.
Yeah.
I mean, selling out, and then you look around. 2 things struck me looking around the other night. One is, which always happens, is the number of young people under 40 at these shows is the majority. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, it used to be the elder, like you'd see all these old dudes. They're all
not now.
They're gone. They're gone.
No, I think Mayer is really primarily responsible for that.
Mayer has brought in the hot dad with their teenage daughters. You see that there's this whole other demographic of, because I noticed the hot moms, the hot dads. I didn't mean to. Hot parents taking their 14, 16-year-old daughters to see John Mayer at Dead and Company.
There's just a lot of 20s and 30s ish that are know this, are really into this thing and the whole rock and roll. And then now Billy Strings pulls in more of the older generation. So you can see the future, how it's developing now. But the other thing that I remember struck me with the first night, we were down close, we were right up front. Second night we were about halfway back. We got reserved seats for the first show.
Was the rainbow on the first show or the second?
Second show. The rain came in on Tuesday briefly. Yeah. So I remember looking at the first set closer was Shakedown Street, which was really one of the best I've ever seen and heard. But I looked around and you could you've been to Red Rocks, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I sit on the stage.
So when you're in the audience, you know how you can the views. So you look we're on the left side and you look, and what it looked like was the ocean. Everybody, you could see with the lights and the sundown, everybody dancing and moving. It looked like everybody. It looked like the flow of the ocean. Because you can see it as you look. It's like an angle, and you can see it from the top all the way to the bottom, and it was just like the waves moving.
Cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And how close do you stay in an Airbnb? Did you buy a house
Well,
there? What's going on?
No, I stayed it.
I'm just having fun because you've been, is it 3 times?
Well, this year twice. There's 2 trips. Once before.
Last month. And this
hotels all around. There's actually a new hotel, which I didn't stay at. There's a new, when you get off the freeway and then you turn left and you go in the road that takes you to Red Rocks. But right at that freeway exit now, there's a little new development area, which includes a hotel called the Origin Hotel, which they say is now the official hotel at Red Rocks, whatever it is. But somebody arranged to have a local Dead cover band play, and in the afternoons, so we were hanging out before you go in, before you go up to the venue. They were playing all afternoon, except for Tuesday when the rain came in.
Your microphone just went strange.
How is it now? Is it okay?
Don't move. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's fine.
So they were playing there, and that's when I sent you that text. Did you know Jill Simmons? And Jill's a singer in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Friends of all of my friends there, and I saw that she sang the national anthem at a Pirates game recently. And then my friend said she'd be there. Well, long story short, she jumps up and starts singing with the band, and because she fronts a all women dead cover band in Pittsburgh called Brown Eyed Women.
Right.
And another band, yeah. And so she sang with them. Yeah, very, very good. So we had with music, and more music.
Janelle Burdell has played with her in that band, and Janelle and I had talked about doing that same thing 20 years ago to do the female dead cover band. So I'm glad they're still doing their thing. Should you drag your daughter? Yeah, sure. And she'll be a hot daughter because your daughter's gorgeous, Michael. So what's the next musical? Are you going today to hear some music? Will we see a live Jeff Metzger live?
Yes, Jason Fetty and his Cocker Joe Cocker tribute band, Bad Dogs and the Englishmen, as we put it, are playing tonight at the Laguna Arts Festival.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
So this dinner you made last night, dude. How long were you in the kitchen?
Not that long, actually. An hour, probably. So I don't take full credit because the Sicilian restaurant, the Bottega, the deli, where we get all the eggplant stuff, they've started jarring stock.
Oh.
Chicken and beef stock, and actually bone broth too. So I've been using their chicken broth to make my risotto. Holy moly, what a difference when you have some just great cooking with good stuff. Yeah. So, but I was looking last week. I didn't like the presentation. I said I got to work on my presentation. Right. I just slop shit on the plate. I got to start.
Here, Lisa, go eat.
I got to start like a real cook. So I was looking at recipes, and one of the recipes had the risotto in a fish dish, and it had it in the bowl. Put the risotto in the bottom of the bowl and the fish sitting on top of that. I said, okay, that's cool. That'll be the next step. I can start. So that's what I tried to do last night, was just to improve the presentation, do it in the bowl.
Beautiful.
It was very good. It was very good.
Yeah, I can see that. And the wine looked not too shabby either.
That's a good one. One.
The grouper you got from your New Zealand.
Not grouper, they call it groper.
Because I was wondering, I was like, maybe he spelled it, maybe there's another way of spelling it. So it was actually called groper.
It's like a halibut. We ordered halibut. The halibut didn't come in yesterday from the guy. He said, so we made the substitution. But it's very close. It's when you cut into it, it's very much like a halibut.
And when you get fish from them, is it just the one shot? Like you get something for one night, and that's what you're going to do that night, or do you get extra?
For a week. He delivers on Friday. So so the question is, with meats you can freeze them. And he started I talked about this. The New Zealand salmon is the King Ora salmon. That thing was. Well, this week this is the first time we had it. We're taking a picnic with us to the show today. This is how it works. You bring your own, and so now I got a 1.5 pound slice of this smoked King Ora salmon, which we haven't had before. Oh, I know. It was with this. Oh,
Gracie, we're gonna get on a plane and we're heading down to Orange County.
Well, most people, people we're talking to said if you're coming out of town, I said you gotta be here on a Friday or Saturday night.
Right.
So that we can all the New Zealand fare. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the meat lovers, the filet mignon is unlike I've ever had before. I'm okay with fillets. This grass-fed New Zealand, they take care of the animals, I guess, until they kill them.
They're real nice.
But the flavor is, really remarkably different and better than I've had here. So, but then all the fishes, the interesting fishes that he provides, something different. Last week we did a New Zealand snapper, so it's something different always.
And last night, so you made risotto and groper, and what else was on the plate? Because I had to blow it up. I saw it on my phone. I'm like, I got to see this in Technicolor. So I came out to my laptop and was looking at it. I'm like, what's going on here? But it was
That's
just.
what I made. I sliced some avocado and cucumbers to go with it. But
Oh.
that's
But
all.
what was all in the risotto?
Last night I put leeks and and uh, and green beans and orange bell pepper
In the
and,
risotto, you put
and
green
spinach.
beans.
And spinach. Yeah, well, I sauteed everything but the spinach. I sauteed the leeks and the beans and the bell pepper and the rice. And then saute it in oil, and then start to ladle in the broth. And then when you get, almost done, you stir in the spinach because it doesn't take but a second, and then the cheese, and voila. Cook it until the consistency you want it.
Do you stir it with a wooden spoon?
Yes. Yes. You just keep adding and stirring and adding and stirring. You can't. The way to ruin risotto is you have it too high of a heat. It burns up the liquid too fast. You've got to find the right. You got to play with it until it's the right. If it's too slow, it'll take forever. So you got to find the right thing where it's absorbing the rice at the right pace, to where it'll finally then evenly and uniformly cook it, and then you have to keep a close eye on it, because I don't like it real crunchy, So, but then you can also get it go a little too long; it gets a little mushy. But so that's
more like jelly.
Yeah, that's the art of just having the practice to do it.
When I lived in Italy, we would go visit my friend's grandmother, and she would make risotto every day. She had a little pot, and she would make it every day, every different kind, every day. She had a certain, when she would, in her spoon, on the pan, she'd go tap 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 tap, stir it, tap 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 tap, and she was this cute little Venetian tap tap tap. Like, it wasn't annoying. Anybody else, I'd be like, stop. Jeff needs to come up fishing to Campbell River on Vancouver Island, the best sockeye salmon in the world, according to a Canadian, Rob Morocco.
I would love to visit Victoria again, that's for sure. It's been over 40 years. Haven't I ever told that story?
Tell it.
About my when I went there, oh my goodness, when I pulled have I ever told a story about our golf trip up there? Did I tell the story?
Tell it, please.
Because I guess the statute of limitations for trespassing is probably has probably in both countries has probably expired after 43 years. So we were golfers as kids. So my best buddy and I, he was finishing dental school at the same summer I was finishing my first year of law school, and so we had a friend who at the time was forging press passes, sideline passes to get into football games. This is before the internet. This is before digital. This is before lasers. And and back in those days, if you'd see people on the sidelines of a football game, they would have paper tickets tied to a string that would say, would be their pass. Okay, and he started making these things on his own, and then sneaking his way into these football games and going down the sidelines. And would make them for us as well, and sometimes a lot of us would go on the sidelines to college football games. Mostly at Stanford and Cal. Okay, so I started thinking one day and said, my buddy and I were saying, let's take a trip for the summer. We want to play golf. I got an idea. We want to be able to play all the good golf courses. Let's get a pass made. We'll do this. We'll say we're with Sports Illustrated, and then my line was going to be that we're writing a golf that I worked as a stringer for everybody know what a stringer was back in those days? The newspapers and the magazines and the Associated Press and things. Stringers would be local kids and things that would go cover things locally and
like they take the photo of the basketball game and the volleyball. Yeah. Okay, stringer. Okay.
So I said we're stringers for them, be able to make the connection, and we're going to try to. We want to write a. I'm going to write a book on the golf courses of the West. Okay, we're going to try to write a travel book. So I have my buddy make up 2 passes. I still have mine. It's with a picture that says Sports Illustrated writing staff, and my buddy Sports Illustrated photographer. And he took a camera, and off we would go. And what we would do is we would show up. We'd find out all the way from Northern California through Oregon, Washington, into Canada, Vancouver and Vancouver Island. Every place we'd go, what was the best golf course we could find?
Really?
Best private club. And we'd go there and we'd make sure it was the summertime. And it was up, so we'd make sure we wouldn't show up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because now it's 7 o'clock in the East Coast, so nobody could find. They couldn't check on us by then. So the next day, if somebody wanted to check on us, we'd be in the next town. We're gone. So we would go in, we'd ask for the pro, we'd ask for the thing, and say, well, give us the thing. We'd show them our passes. We'd like to play your golf course. Do you mind if we play your golf course? And the only rule we had was we wouldn't pay. So we had to go. One place they said you can play, but you have to charge. You have to charge. No, we're going to go to the next one. And we played 10 courses in 15 days, BSing our way through the whole Northwest, and played all these the best courses in Eugene and Portland.
Some people aren't that Did they ever feed you?
We almost got busted once.
Okay,
So
I was going to get there.
We almost got busted once. So there was up out of Seattle at a famous course called Sahali Country Club. Hey, Layla. There was one of the top West Coast amateur tournaments going on when we were up there, and one of our good buddies that we grew up with, who was the best player of all of us, was in the field, and he was playing there. So we said, okay, let's go out there and we'll see if we can play that course too, because there was 27 holes at that time, and they were playing 18, and they weren't using the other 9. So we go in, we use the same line, and the pro looks at me and says, yeah, because we have the tournament here. He says, well, that's really interesting. You work for Sports Illustrated. Joe Jones, who is the golf writer for the Seattle Times, he's here today, and he works for Sports Illustrated and sends stories in too. I'm sure he would love to meet you. Okay?
Great.
Let's go see. I swear to God. So we had to go from one building to the next, and I felt like I was walking the plank, thinking I'm having like a minute and a half to figure out how do I talk my way out of this one. So that's when I came up with the stringer angle. And I said, yeah, we're in the Bay Area. I'm in law school. I'm a stringer. They call occasionally, and I send in a story, and and they bought it. And they looked at me and said, well, sorry, but we're using the first 18 for the tournament. You can't play that. But here, there's a cart over there. You guys go take the cart and go play the other 9 and have fun. We played there too.
So that was as close as you got to getting busted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can remember being in the golf pro's office at some of these places, and yes, come on, we'd like to meet you. We'd sit in his office in the chairs, and we'd explain the book that we were writing, and we'd act like we were interviewing him about the history of the golf course and the whole thing.
Did you ever write any of it down? Did you ever?
No, not for this. No.
Because it could be a really interesting book.
Sure it would be. I mean, there's travel books everywhere. But at that time I was doing a little writing on the side. Well, no, I think I probably stopped by then. But when I was in high school and college, I was doing writing for newspapers and sports writing for newspapers. So it wasn't like I created this out of thin air.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Well, I've told this story, haven't I? When I was a senior in high school, I was the editor of the school paper. And that year they decided to have it, instead of having it printed at the school, they had it printed at the local paper. They cut a deal with them. So I'd have to go down to the local paper on my bike, it's 5 minutes. And that's where we do all the layout. So I got to meet all the people, particularly the sports editor of the paper, and said, do you mind if I start calling in the sports teams and asking for press passes and go to games? They said, no. And so then they would print, and I'd write a story, and they'd print it. And then Bill Graham, I said, well, let's do the concerts. So I started calling Bill Graham Presents. That was the only place to get music at that time. Should I? Oh no, actually, I'm not. I didn't bullshit my way through this one. If Gary's listening, okay. With BGP, I was completely on the up and up, and he knows all the people, of course. But Zon Artman was the PR guy who really was a very kind of he had a very arrogant, gruff personality, particularly to 17-year-old kids that were trying to get free press passes out of him. So, but he would give them to me, but he'd say, I'm not giving you, you have to write the story and you have to send me the story. Now, there's no other way to, other than to mail it.
It's almost like Almost Famous in a way.
Yeah, but from at the very, very beginning level. And I'd write the story and I'd send it to him, and then I'd call for the next show. You know, to go see Winterland or Oakland Coliseum, and you know, so then I'd write the stories and they'd print them, and I'd get press passes.
What was your first show at Winterland? You know?
The ones I recall at Winterland, I saw Bruce there. I saw not the Beach Boys. I saw Dave Mason there.
Oh.
Saw Elvin Bishop there. I think Elvin Bishop.
He lives in Fairfax, Forest Knolls area.
Who?
Elvin Bishop. He's in Marin.
Elvin Bishop is the Southern. He's in.
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
One of our friends in the fraternity was an Elvin Bishop fan, and then of course he got us all. And then we would take carloads of people to the Bay Area to go see Elvin Bishop.
Really?
We saw him a few years ago. I bet 5, 6, 7 years ago. We saw him here. He was not the same.
No.
He has not aged well.
No.
I mean, in terms of his music, you know, well, probably everything else as well.
It's hard.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to be a performer and oh wow, my light just turned on. Hello, whoever's here. It's hard to maintain sometimes. But
The Traveling Shoes and Rock My Soul, those were his two.
Good tunes. Good tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, so you know the Moroccos are going to be in San Pancho.
Cool.
And Patty. Maybe Grace. Maybe Grace. Come on, Grace. Don't you think Grace should come? Mama Grace?
Sure, Grace should come.
And I think the hotel's sold out now. We have 3 rooms, I think.
Well, good. That's okay. That's good because I can stay somewhere else. She might as well get money for it as opposed to having to obligated to do a freebie, which she would insist. So I can't. You know, as much as we try to pay, we go. You know.
Well, but if it's not,
that's good. That's just better that she gets the income, and I mean, it's a 5 walk.
She eat meals just on the weekends, right?
What?
She does dinner just on the weekends.
That's what she's been to. Yes. Yes.
That's hard for me.
Which is a little problematic. Yes, that's going to be problematic because that's during the show times too. Yeah. But the breakfasts and lunches are great there, so that's kind of where you end up doing the food.
So good.
Yeah.
Grace says she's too tired. She can't go. So the picnic today, it's going to have smoked salmon. What else?
I'm making Caesar salad. You know, my Caesar salad from scratch. I've talked about that before, I imagine, haven't I? Making Caesar salad, so I have to take it all so it doesn't get soggy. I have to mix it all there. So I'll take it.
Oh, you're going to actually prepare it at the event.
Well, I'll make the marinade here, the sauce. Put it in a little not Ziploc, but what's the plastic containers? You know, the senior moment. Anyway.
You use anchovies?
Of course.
Okay, just checking. Some
Oh
people.
my God. For me, I eat them. I eat them whole.
I do too. I love them. In fact, I might have to get some today, Gracie. She's not a fan.
Then I'm taking some fruit, probably some cheese. Going to go get some fresh bread.
Does Layla go with you?
No. Oh no, certainly not for this. I don't think the dogs are not allowed in the arts festival. No, they're not allowed in the festivals.
It's an art fair.
Yeah, Laguna Beach has 2 art festivals in the summertime. They have the Laguna Arts Festival, which is have you heard of the Pageant of the Masters? Pageant of the Masters has been going on for decades. It's their annual show. They have 5 shows a week. They recreate famous paintings with people. People actually act in these paintings.
Say that again.
They recreate with people famous paintings, like the Rembrandts and Van Goghs, whatever. They do it with people, and so it's a whole show for 2.5 hours. It's unbelievable if you've never seen it before. They literally have dozens of people. They dress them all up in costumes, and the show is they put them in this scene, and the lights come on, and there's the painting with people. So there's a whole venue. I don't know.
How many paintings will they recreate?
I don't know how many. I bet you per show there's probably 20. There might be 20 paintings.
That's happening this today? You're going to see that today?
No, we're not going to pageant this year. That goes on for 2 months. It's 5 shows a week for 2 months.
When is this pageant thing?
It's July and August every year.
Next year.
It's called Pageant Masters.
I have to see this.
So you go into it's the Laguna Arts Festival. So there's an art show of probably 100 or more artists that you have to be from Laguna, and you have to be selected. You have to apply, and then they have
great show
things there, and then you can go to the art festival, but then each night at like 8:30, I think 8:30 the show starts. It's probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. They pageant, yes. I mean, we don't go every year. Some people do. I mean, it's a novelty thing. So once you've seen it, I mean, every few years we go to see what they're doing. And every year it's different. They do different paintings every year.
Like different time period or different.
I'm sure. Yes, they do theme it around something. Yes. If you go on, if you Google,
loving the time of cholera, like the paintings during the cholera.
If you Google Pageant of the Masters, Laguna Beach,
I wrote it down.
Yeah, you'd find what they're doing. And then across the street, it's on Laguna Canyon Road. Across the street is the Sawdust Art Festival. That's kind of a rustic kind of setup with a lot more booths.
More like an outsiders art festival.
Yeah, and they have music venues all through it. They have a main stage where we go, and then they have a couple little other stages, and people sing, and the way they
sing.
What?
People sing and just stuff.
Musicians sing and play, and they do their thing, and what they do is they do half hour on, half hour off. So that you watch for half hour, then you go buy art for a half hour, and you come back, and they do this like over 4 or 5 hours, and they'll play, but then every stage they're offset. So the one time the main deck is on, the little stage next to the beer bar is off. It's so I think there's 3 stages of music.
So no overlap.
Right.
Best way to do a festival. It really is. Because then you get the choice to experience it all.
So it usually goes from 4th of July to Labor Day is when, and last year, of course, it was kaput, but it's, back on full this year, thankfully.
I saw my nephew's band last night, Slim Gypsy Baggage. They were cool, and they're playing today, and I'm going to check out where they're playing today because I possibly will be playing there in August with David Long, which we've been texting back and forth, figuring out dates that we can play together. So I'm excited.
So the gigs are starting?
Not really. I did one last week, opened up the livery, and then I have a gig, I guess it's next week, the 28th, I think, in northern Michigan. Yep, Wednesday, July 28th. And we did that last summer because this guy Scully has what's called the Scully Tour, and we call it the Scully Tour, and he has musicians, books them all summer long for 1 week. You play from Tuesday through Sunday night in different venues in northern Michigan, and he for years has had a radio frequency so people could sit in their car and listen to the music if they didn't want to get out of the car, and they honk instead of clapping, they honk. So he had the COVID thing pre-COVID.
Right.
Had it all dialed in, and so we're not doing the full week this year. We're doing one night with two guys, Dave Zigner and Martin Lucas, who I was in a band with over 20 years ago, are coming down, and then with Tom Costanzo, and there's my alarm, and then in August I'll do the gigs with David, and that's kind of it. I haven't. It's it's just different. A lot of the places that Rolf and I have played at have closed, and he and I uh, worked on a grant that Gary will probably talk about that tonight. That Gary wrote the bio, and we submitted a grant, and we'll know by the end of September if we got any funds for the grant, and we will be working on a new record versus
good.
touring. But then we'll be at Jazz Fest if you know if things are still happening the way that they're going to be happening. We'll be doing Jazz Fest both weekends.
Right. Oh, I thought you were already booked on that.
Yeah, but who knows if things change, or Louisiana is really low in vaccines and they're having a lot of problems there. So they're even talking about Jazz Fest, like really changing a lot of things for Jazz Fest. But my friend who owns the hotel is like, let's plan it. We're doing it, but we'll see what happens. Open. Fluid, as they say.
So speaking of Gary, so here's
what's the question going to be tonight?
The question's going to be tonight about the announcement yesterday that Bob and the Wolf Brothers will be playing with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center.
Fun. I want to be in that choir.
Shit, yeah. So they're doing 4 nights at the Kennedy Center.
Cool.
And I guess you can. Well, I think he was the first. Well, he was the first one that I consciously heard rave about Billy Strings. You guys were talking one night, and you both started talking. But he's he's quite the talent. And it's funny.
At my brother's venue, there were 29 people there.
What?
He did a gig at my brother's venue. There were 29 people there.
Oh, hold that thought, because I'm going to ask you a question. The thing about him is you look at him, and it's a disconnect. What you see, you can't believe what comes out of him. What this person looks like. This is the voice that comes out of him, and just the hat, the hair not combed, and the T-shirts, and anyway. So you started talking. I don't know when it was. Something about his grandfather last week. Oh, that's right. When we were talking on the when you were at the Eric Fair, and nobody could hear each other. I figured I'll push it till this next week. You started to mention something about the grandfather. You knew the grandfather, or you?
I didn't know the grandfather. No.
You knew of the what do you know?
The grandfather made a guitar for Billy, and it was presented to him at the show that my brother presented.
That's the one he played, the 33 on it, his race car number. He played that. He played it, and they made a big deal about it this week.
Yeah, it was handed to him at the venue that the concert that my brother played.
Okay.
But have you seen Marcus King?
I've not seen him. I know who he is. I've watched videos of him. Yeah. He's a few years, isn't he?
He what?
You know him? Don't you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I know. My brother produced a few concerts for him like 3 years ago when he was just breaking out on the scene. And yeah, we hung out with him. He's cool.
It's all part of that extended, the extended family. Him and Jackie and Reed and all the ones that are, have gone through and now playing with whoever.
Now it's the next generation. That's your children's generation. So when are you going to New York? You leave?
I don't know. I'm thinking of extending on the front end to go see Dead and Company in New York. So while I'm there, I may as well go in early. But that's what I'm toying with now, because I have a window. I have to be back. I was going to go to Bethel Woods on a Monday night, but to see my son as much as I want to, I had to pick between that and seeing Bruce because they're going to be gone. The window is they're going to be gone up until the Sunday, and I have to be home on the Wednesday. That's the window of seeing Kevin. So to go 2 of those 3 nights to shows, I'm not doing. So I picked between. But now, I mean, there's nothing stopping me from going in earlier before they get back to town to go see the show at City Field. So I may do that.
Are you going to do that Bob and Bruce possibility thing in Central Park?
Well, you mean Paul Simon. So I don't
Paul Simon, right, sorry.
If I was there on Friday and it was on Saturday, I would learn more about whether it would be something worth, is it worth going to? I mean, is it going to be such a madhouse and you can't get anywhere near the stage? Or
sounds like it's going to be pretty nutty, but you could be one of the lucky ones and be right up in the front.
Well, it depends how many hours I would want to spend, which is probably not many, because to me, giving up a day of
New York.
Standing in line. I mean, I'll stand in line for a number of hours depending upon the place, but I'm not going to give up a day of touring for it. But I think I'm staying right near Central Park, so it would be I can play that by ear as to whether
Is Lisa going?
No, we're going to Ottawa the week before for the Passaic to watch the meteor showers. So we talked about that, right?
No.
The Passaic, the meteor, every year the meteor showers.
Yeah.
Lisa loves that kind of stuff, and she's always been wanting to go see them, but you have to get away from city lights to be able to actually see them. So what do you do if you live here? There's too many city lights. You have to drive somewhere, but then to get up at 2:00 in the morning or whatever it is, and go drive out in Orange County to go find some place that's, and sitting on some road, on the side of the road. That's not my thing. 3 in the morning, whatever. So then we started talking about going to a place like Joshua Tree or someplace where you get a place and watch the stars, meteors. Then this year, as you know, the Idlewild thing came up, and then the first time we were there, this place and where it is, we said, "Oh shit, this is perfect." You can literally just roll out of bed, go out on you literally crawl to the balcony and look up, and and there's no city lights. I mean, it's the darkest. You can't believe how dark this place is. So that's what we're doing.
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen them quite a bit. On Maui, I've seen a lot of meteor showers, and then up in Northern California at the ranch, we throw out some hay, make some bales of hay, make a big old bed, sleeping bags, and then you just, hey, look, and you're like, oh wow, and then you see like 300 of them and go, do we just stay up and keep watching this happen, or I'm wiped out? But then you kind of roll back to sleep, and then you look over again, and
right.
Maybe you could sleep out on the deck.
I don't have to. I mean, literally, the deck is 6 feet from the bed.
Got it.
Okay. So So and then that's what we're doing for the meteor showers.
Fun. When is that?
Well, and they tell you when it's a matter of science as to when they're going to be. You're not guessing on the nights. You go the days. We're going like the 11th to the 15th of. But I got.
And then the wedding's in September.
November.
Oh.
November. So I'm busy.
Right,
I've got 3, so I spend the days working up there, and then just watch the showers at night. Take a hike, go work, and it'll be. That's the plan.
Sounds like your summer is pretty much set and very cool.
It's there, we're doing. Then we spend it in September in Laguna again, so I'll be corresponding.
Are you taking a month?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'll be in Northern California in September for 1 week.
Okay, we have to get to the. Lisa's car's been in the shop. We have to go pick it up now and get back because we got a landscaper coming to consult with us.
Get it going so you can get that salmon ready.
Yes, and then we'll do that later. So
I'm gonna go pick apricots.
I call them apricots too. Some people call them apricots, but I always just
apricot.
I call them apricots.
I'm gonna go pick apricots at my friend's farm. And
Summer,
then
summer fruit.
oh, my other friend Julie, I was on her farm the other day. I have berries, strawberries, and blackberries, and greens. The whole refrigerator bottom is full of greens, which I've been chipping away at. I'm going to go make a salad right now. I don't know.
Okay, well, have a wonderful weekend.
I will. Thank you.
Say hi to Gary.
Thanks for being here. Say hi to Lisa and Layla. Lillian says hello, Layla.
Layla. I don't know where she is.
She's
Layla.
listening to poetry.
I gotta go feed her.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Jeff
Yeah.
Metzger. One more Saturday morning. See ya. I love Jeff. Yeah, tie-dye Patty. Actually, Patty made this dress. So I'm wearing the dress to go pick apricots. And then I'm going to go listen to my nephew's band. And then I'm going to dinner with a friend of mine from high school. Quite a social day. Might have to go take a nap now. Just thinking about that kind of made me tired. You guys have a really super great day. Tonight, Gary Lambert. One more Saturday night with Gary Lambert, because one more Saturday morning is now a wrap. Huge hug. Who's going to give me a letter? Give me a letter. Give me a letter. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Be nice. Mama Grace, I'll see you in a couple minutes. I got to make some food. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I know there was an extra letter given last night, but I don't remember what it was. But if one happens to be H, he said H first. Whew. Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day. It's a Saturday. So I hope that you have the happiest thoughts and the humblest words and a heart-filled heart. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Jeff. Love hard. Really hard.